Hey guys, this is Daniel Clayman. I got my good buddy Trevor Mogg on here. We've put together some pretty cool content for you that I think you're really going to like because this is a topic that a lot of people are struggling with, which is, how do I find private lenders? Where do I get private money, right? How do I find those individuals instead of going to banks? How do I find those individuals that Joe or John or Lucy or whoever, right, that lives down the street or lives in my town that will partner up with me or lend me money to go out and buy houses that I can rehab or maybe even buy rentals. Um, this is going to be, we're going to show you a pretty unconventional way to turn people into private lenders, right? And you can actually read the title on the screen. We're going to show you how to turn your cash buyers into private lenders. And this is something that a lot of people really don't realize they can do. But if you're out there wholesaling, or if you're getting ready to start wholesaling and marketing deals, and you're hopefully already using Rehabaluator to analyze your deals and to create marketing materials for your deals, well, you're out there talking to cash buyers all day long. And what do cash buyers have? Trevor, what do cash buyers have?
Yeah, money. Yeah, money,
They have
man.
cash.
Yep.
So the guy on here is Trevor Mock. Trevor's been a buddy of mine, a very good friend. We're in like two different masterminds together. We even though we live in opposite coasts, we see each other 3, 4 times a year. Trevor lives in Oregon. He is the founder of Investor Carrot, which these guys are completely killing the game in lead generation, inbound marketing, websites for investors. And if you look at like We Buy Houses websites, or if you look at a lot of lead gen websites that are getting the highest SEO rankings out there in different cities, chances are it was these websites were built by Trevor's company. So I'm going to turn it over to Trevor, and he is going to show you exactly the process that they use and a lot of his clients use to put lead generation autopilot, put cash buyers into your funnel on a regular basis, and then convert those cash buyers to actually become your private lenders. This is pretty awesome. So
No, man, dude. I appreciate you hopping on with me to do this. And also, one thing I want to make sure people notice here is I was trying to make sure you guys are awake, and there is a misspelling in that title there. So I just want to make sure you guys are all awake. So it's turning your cash buyers into private lenders, and many of you have probably read that. And turning cash your buyers does not make any sense. But you guys know what we mean here. So make sure you guys are all awake. Now that we are, okay, we're gonna dive in. So like Daniil said, we've known each other for a while, and it's really cool to see the journey that he's been on with his development, over there in Richmond, and just crushing over there, just buying up everything and building and I mean, it's amazing. So you guys are in the right hands working with him and using his software, because it is actually what he uses, unlike what a lot of people that make software just to go out there and sell. He was using it for a while, making it for himself. He said, hey, I think other people would like to use this as well. So you guys are in great hands. And here at Carrot, like you mentioned, we really focus on the lead generation side of things through the web. And we're going to come at you with this one quick tip here. So this isn't going to be a 30-minute video or anything. It's going to be a very, very short video with one quick tip and a couple mindset shifts for you that you can go and implement in your business today to get more private lenders. Now, the one caveat is you have to be generating cash buyers in order for this to work. And there's a lot of ways to do it. Daniil mentioned that we'll go over some ways briefly on how you can do that with leverage the web. But having the tool that you have with Rehabaluator is amazing, because you're already getting those deals, obviously, if you have deals to analyze. And then you're taking those and you're running them through the process in Rehabaluator and coming out with that finished, whatever you call it, but the deal is fully analyzed and it's in that PDF, or it's on that link that you can share with people. That's one of the first things. You need to make sure people know that you have inventory, of course, because one of the biggest things that people will see that cash buyers see through is there's everyone and their dog hawking quote unquote investment properties, but many people don't actually have any inventory. So if you can
hmm
show that you have inventory, every time you even get a deal that is under contract or that you're working on with someone else that's under contract, get it and share it loud and proud. Share it all over your Facebook. Share it, in your email list. Even if it's just BCCing 25 cash buyers, you don't have to be you don't have to be really high on the technical savviness side of things. Okay, guys, just get Get your deals out there and share them loud and proud. If you
Yep.
guys have a website, you guys need to be putting your deals on your website. And one reason for that we found, we were talking with one of our members in Baltimore a few weeks ago. His name is Daniel, and we actually have a couple awesome members in Baltimore named Daniel. This is Daniel DiGiacomo, and he's doing a lot of deals, and a lot of deals. I mean, he has 80 some odd properties on his Investor Carrot website, maybe even over 100 now, because they're churning through a lot of deals and selling them. And he said that just because they list their properties on their website and put in the address and put in the neighborhood and location of where they are and things like that, over time they started to get their pages ranking very, very well in Google for those different things. So what they were seeing was they were starting to attract people who are looking at buying real estate through Google on accident. They were landing on their website. The person was seeing that opt-in form on the website that said, access our deeply discounted investment properties, and they're joining their list. Now, that's what we specialize in here at Carrot, is building websites that perform, that attract your ideal client and convert them into a lead. We're going to talk about what we put in place about 3 years ago. We started Carrot about 3 years, and we put this into place before we even launched Carrot in one of my own websites, where we were trying to really kind of deal with the SEC guidelines and changes that were happening and that still continue to happen. And as many of you guys can attest, the SEC really has very, very tight guidelines on what you can and what you can't do. Now, this recording is not it's not legal advice. Don't take it as legal advice. I'm not an attorney.
Not lawyers.
I'm pretty sure Daniil's not an attorney either. This is just education purposes. Take this and then go talk to an attorney. But with the attorneys that we were talking to, and also just talking with the SEC, they really frowned upon websites that specifically just were geared for private lenders. Like, you would land on the website and it would say, hey, earn passive returns of X amount backed by real estate, blah, blah, blah. Not that you can't do that, but you have to jump through a lot of hoops. You have to have certain exemptions, and those exemptions have to specifically say that you can do that. And then still you have to follow a lot of these rules. But one thing that you can do is you can build relationships with people. You can build relationships with people, and as long as you start building those relationships with people before you ever even bring up your private lending program, then according to our attorneys and what the conversation we've had at the SEC, you're in the clear. Now, once again, run that by your attorney. So one thing that we implemented to test out is we said, okay, let's get rid of our private lender specific websites. So let's just get rid of them, because we don't even want that liability, right? Let's get rid of them. So we did. And we said, what, like you mentioned at the start of the call, man, what's the closest to a private lender that we can easily get? It's a cash buyer.
So I think, Trevor, I think this is key, right? So let's reiterate that. Often you'll see people have private lender websites. Like, you land on their website and says, want to be my private lender? Or do you want to generate 12% guaranteed returns on your money? And you've never been to that website, you don't know that person. That's a big no-no, right? So I think it's huge that you guys just got rid of private lender websites completely.
Yep, got rid of them completely.
That's huge. Yeah.
And like I said, part of it was honestly the liability side of it. I mean, so my own personal story, I got the scary letter from the SEC, and this would have been 2007 or 8 or 9 or whatever it was. I got the scary letter, and of course I was abiding by all the rules, and there wasn't anything I was doing wrong, so I just had to make a trip up to the state capitol and talk with them and give them basically everything financially related to me so they could make sure I wasn't taking people's money. And I was fine, but there's some people who weren't managing their private lending stuff well, and they weren't fine, and having that dedicated website was a big, big, big red flag to the SEC back then. And even now, I know some of you are saying, okay, well, what about the guidelines that recently opened up to make it quote unquote legal to do general solicitation? Guys, there's still so many darn stipulations that go with that. I mean, I wouldn't even consider doing that unless I was literally creating a fund and I had the money and time to invest into attorneys and lots of legal expenses to make sure that we had that right. So what we decided was, said, hey, let's just focus on building relationships with people who have money, who have an affinity toward real estate as an investment. Okay, because if people have money and they have an affinity toward real estate as an investment, their likelihood of then lending money to real estate investors for real estate investments is very high. So here's 2 things you need to implement. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take you on the web right now. And the first thing, you need to, of course, make sure you're part of Rehab Evaluator so you can sell your deals. And the second thing is you need to have a website that is geared toward attracting cash buyers, right? So your website should really be geared toward engaging the cash buyer, toward giving them the information they need so they can do the research, towards showing them properties. And even if you don't have any properties, it needs to be optimized so you can guide them on that path to get on your list. And this call isn't really about all those details. We're going to focus on the private lender side of it. But there's many, many, many things that we have implemented into our system that make it work so darn good to help you generate cash buyers. So you can just focus on getting people to your website through Craigslist or Facebook or just word of mouth or SEO. And our system takes care of converting them into a lead at a high rate and then qualifying them for you. So we put in what we call a step 2 process. Okay. So if you were to go to this website here, it's just a client of ours in Pennsylvania. This is like their main company website / cash buyer. In our system, we automatically always drive people through to the thing that they want to see. Now, if you're a cash buyer or you're looking for investment properties, you're looking for properties for sale. Now, rather than driving people directly to see those properties, we guide them through this process, which we have tested so many times. And I know this page is ugly, but this ugly page performed way better than any of the pretty ones we ever tested, so we're sticking with it because we focus on performance. And then our page automatically localizes it for your area. And then this content, this client didn't change any of these words. He just put that picture up there. We guide them through that first step. Get access immediately. What's your name? What kind of investor are you? Phone number
Is it possible
optional.
to zoom in on that, Trevor?
What's that?
Somehow? Is it possible to zoom in on that?
Yeah. Yeah, let me zoom in on that thing.
On the opt-in box?
Yep, for sure. Like I said, man, this is a new computer with a ginormous screen. So I'm still getting used to how they show up on video and stuff. So yeah, the opt-in box there, I'll zoom in even farther. Let's get in there.
No, that's the wrong way. Nope.
Okay. So right there, we've got your information below to get immediate
Beautiful.
access, see our handyman properties, not on the MLS, that's key. You want to make sure that they know that these are not properties they can go and see on the MLS. And available properties on the next page. So information, basic info here. We don't want to ask 20 questions on here. We just want to get their lead. Most of them who are serious will put their phone number in. The tire kickers won't put their phone number in. But that way we're not eliminating people from opting in here. So show me the deals. You want to make sure you're not putting submit here, things like that. You want to make sure you're talking about the benefit. This right here is where the key comes in. That thing right there that I just showed you, that's not revolutionary. That is optimized really well and works very well. But this right here is what we put in place that helps to really turn your cash buyers into private lenders. So on the second page, after your cash buyers are filling out that short form, then we take them through this optional step 2 form. Okay, and I call it optional because technically they could now go and look at the properties. Right? They could go look at properties. But we have some good text up here that gets them to come down here, realize that they'll get quicker access to the best properties if they finish their profile, things like that. Now, this stuff isn't all that important as far as the cash buyers goes in respect to that we're not asking them questions about money up here. But what you want to do, and this is the key right here, guys and gals, is after you get that cash buyer's lead, you want to guide them through this journey. And you want to start with basic information that they can answer easily. Name, email, phone number. Our system automatically brings that over from the previous form if they put that in, so that streamlines it. Then we go down to investment preferences. So we're guiding them on this journey. They've put in some basic info that they can answer. Now we're trying to guide them on very low resistance basic answers that help us know if we can help them. I'm looking for houses to rehab and sell, house to hold as rentals, house to live in. How did you get there? Internet search. So this is just basic stuff, right? This helps kind of give you some intelligence on who they are, how you can help them. What types of properties are you looking for? Check all that applies. So this is basic stuff. This isn't revolutionary. We had this in place long before we put this tip in. What areas? Now we're starting to get into the money side. Okay, so what's your ideal price range? What a lot of people will do is they'll dive right in and say, how much money do you have to invest? And that's a pretty darn threatening question. Also, you're not going to get the real answer from people.
Right.
You're going to get, the person's going to come in and let's say they have $1 million. They're going to say, I've got 50 because they're only wanting to test you out, right? So what I'm asking is, what is your ideal price range of a house? We're not asking how much money they have and how much money they want to spend with us. I'm asking what their ideal price range of a house is. Okay, so right there, they're kind of gauging, and by this, we can start to gauge how much money they may have. What discount off retail are you usually aiming for? That helps you on the cash buyer side. How will you finance your property? So these two questions right here coupled with this one are where the magic comes in. We get about 10% of every, on some websites 15%, but 10% of every single cash buyer that fills out forms on our Investor Carrot websites end up raising their hand voluntarily and saying, I am willing to lend money as a private lender, reach out to me. And
So say that percentage again, Trevor. 10 to 15% of cash buyer leads are actually raising their hand and saying, I'm willing to be a lender.
yeah, voluntarily raising their hand through this process. And like I said, we even adjusted things around and it didn't work as well. It's because we're guiding them through this very specific journey. We're not hitting money questions at first. We're not asking how much money they have. We're asking them questions that help us discover how much money they have. And then right here, how will you finance your properties? Check all that apply. You know, we want the person that's going to be checking those. And if you get a person that checks those and they're checking, you know, let's say that box or one of these ones up here, not that one, they're probably going to be one that might be a really good private lender. This question is key. Are you willing to lend your cash to other investors for great returns secured by real estate? Yes or no. That's all. We're not saying, will you lend us money? We're not saying, are you willing to lend us money for deals? We're saying, are you willing to lend your cash to other investors for great returns?
Well, and this is a very non-threatening question because they're not committing to anything. They're just saying, yeah, I'd be willing, I'd be open to it, but that starts the conversation. And I mean, and you guys, again, you've tested this flow, right? It's not like you slapped a bunch of questions together. I mean, you've tested putting the questions in various sequences, adding, removing questions. This is already at the point where it's fairly optimized.
Yep, it's very optimized and just plug and play. And like I said, this is built in to Investor Carrot by default, and we have dozens and dozens and dozens of other kind of hacks like this that we've discovered through our through our hundreds of thousands of leads that have came through our system a year. Actually, you know, our members get well over 20,000 leads a month right now. So we have a lot of data, a lot of really cool stuff that we can toy with, and that we can help improve our platform even better. And the cool thing is, you can just focus on real estate investing. Let us focus on the performance side of your website, and then you can just engage our team and our training to learn how to grow that cash buyer list or get more sellers for your deals, things like that. But yeah, I mean, these three questions are the main ones. Find out, you know, really what they're looking at buying, what their price range of housing is, not how much money they have, how they'll finance their properties, and then are they willing to lend cash to other investors for great returns. And like I said, this is key because now you're building a relationship with them. You're not soliciting. You're not even saying that you're looking for money to borrow. You're saying, are you willing to lend your cash to other investors for great returns? Not us, other investors. And then when we have opportunities, we'll start sending them opportunities for cash, you know, for properties. And we say, hey, I know you checked, you know, that you're willing to talk about this. Let's talk, because I actually have a deal that we're looking at closing, and we might be able to work in a private lender in this one. This might be a good opportunity. Let's talk. You know, and then you've already got that relationship started. So
there should be a lot of light bulbs going off right now. And I mean, if you're really paying attention, you should be thinking to yourself, well, I should also be talking to my existing cash buyers also, right? I mean, this is in addition to generating new leads, right? A lot of your existing cash buyer leads are probably worthwhile to have that conversation with, because people rehab houses long enough and they get tired of the business, but they've made some money and now they want to be more passive. Exactly. But this is a great way to source brand new private lenders.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge, man. Go ahead, man.
Well, I was going to say, in an active real estate market right now, an optimized website in a major market like Baltimore, or let's say, I don't know, DC, Phoenix, how many cash buyer leads are coming into a website on a, let's say, weekly basis?
Yeah, I mean, so great question. I mean, it's kind of that answer that no one wants. It depends, you know. It depends on the market. It depends on how well the person's actually using the system and implementing the marketing for it. I mean, if you just launch a website and don't do anything with it, of course, there's not going to be much coming in. But here's an example. This one's in Baltimore, and I actually went through and hid several fields here. Like I hid the person's email and phone number and things like that, just for privacy concerns. But this right here, you can actually see these are real leads.
Very small, Trevor. You got zoom in on that. Yeah.
Cool.
Like really zoom in.
We'll get it here. And the cool thing is, I mean, when I'm recording this, so in the post editing, it'll be real size, so we're good. So yeah, anyway, right here, so you've got, you know, April 19th, which is the time that we're recording this. There's been 4 leads that came in here. Google search through that one. That one's through his like bandit signs that came through direct. So we've got a lead source tracker in here where you can tell where all of your leads come from. Then he also has Facebook ads that are working very, very well where he gets a lot of cash buyers. So he's got a really good mix of his marketing where he ranks #1, I think, for Baltimore wholesale properties for that search phrase. He's implemented our SEO tools, implemented our training. It took a little while, but he's got it. Now he's crushing it. And then he stacked on other things. He started to stack on Facebook marketing, and then he stacked on offline marketing derived here.
But on a weekly basis, right? I mean, he's probably getting hundreds of cash buyer leads. I mean, there's so many people hunting for deals right now.
It's a lot,
right?
It's a lot, man. Hundreds, or many people get dozens. Or even if you're just going to do Craigslist marketing and you're not going to do SEO and Facebook marketing and stuff, even if you just do Craigslist, we have people generating dozens or hundreds of cash buyer leads a week or a month. Depends on how hard you're marketing through that as well. So that's the cool thing. So
10 to 15% of that, right, on average. I mean, how many real private lender relationships do you need? You don't need that many.
No.
Right.
A handful. So I'll kind of go back here, and this will sum it all up, and then we'll be on our way, and everyone can start to go out there and crush it with your lead gen and start to close more deals. But this is just showing his forms, and this is just on his one website, and he's got over 1,000 cash buyers here since he restarted this site. It was about 4 or 5 months ago, and he turns off his marketing sometimes, so he doesn't always have Facebook ads going, and he doesn't always have Craigslist ads going. It's just kind of whenever he needs that influx of buyers, and he's looking at getting some stuff. So he's got over 1,000 there. 752 of them filled out that step 2 form. So 752 of them further qualified themselves. But the flip side of that is about 300 of them, 300 or 400 of them automatically disqualified themselves. Now you don't have to worry about looking at them because they're not as serious. And then if I were to go down here, and we'll blur out any sensitive data in the editing that we do here. But if I were to click in here, we'll be able to see which ones I believe actually physically marked yes on that question. So these are some of the ones just from recently. Like I said, we're going to blur out any of the sensitive data. But are you willing to lend your cash to other investors? So these ones weren't. Those 4 weren't, but that one was. No, 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 no. There's some no's. There's a yes. Let's go to page 2. We're going to see something very, very similar where it's about 10%, like I said, are raising their hands and saying, yeah, they want to be a lender. There's a couple no's, but that person does want to be.
That's
some more
right.
no's, that person does want to be. So reach out to those people, build that relationship. And if I was to go into here on this one, and like I said, we are going to blur out this sensitive data, so you guys aren't going to be able to see on the video that this cash buyer and private lender prospects information. But I do want to show you this profile. So this person says they're looking at these areas. Price range is $50,000 to $100,000. They are paying with cash, okay, and then they're willing to lend their money. I have multiple cash sources, and they're ready to buy. You know, this person is a very serious buyer from the looks of it on here. So get out there, guys and gals. Implement that tip on your websites, or if you just want to have it all taken off of your hands and have it easier for you, then we're always here for you. And I'm sure there's going to be a link somewhere around this video or below it or whatever where you guys can join.
Yeah, we'll put a link to Investor Carrot right below the video. And if you're serious about this business and you're not doing inbound lead generation for sellers and for buyers, then you need to start soon, whether you use Investor Carrot or a different website company. But in reality, I mean, again, these guys, what I love about Trevor's company is that this is all they do, right? All they do is websites that are continually being tested and optimized for lead generation. They don't do anything else. They build websites that will help you on autopilot bring in cash buyers, motivated sellers, and now you just saw how the same cash buyer source can bring you potential private lenders, which is huge, and it's something that not a lot of people are doing. So Trevor, this is awesome. I appreciate your time. This has been a great tip. I hope everybody is excited about the potential of this, and I can't tell you how many people come to me and say, you know, I don't know where to go for private lenders. I don't know how to find those people. I don't know how to build those relationships. Nobody will lend to me. Well, here's a way in which you can start building private lender relationships almost completely on autopilot.
Exactly. Well, shoot. Have an amazing rest of the week, guys and gals, and implement Rehab Evaluator and go out there and test out your online marketing and see what works for you. We're here for you if you guys need anything at all. Thanks, Daniil, for inviting me on here, man. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yep.